What's the best? America's Best Popcast is on the air, and we are live. Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman, what time is it?
What's the buzz time?
It's What's the Buzz time. And across the country, it's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles, it's 6 o'clock in Chicago, and 7 p.m. on the East Coast. It is a very special evening for us here at What's the Buzz tonight. Our best of 23 show. The best of 2023. Some of our most memorable guests. And to walk you through this, yours truly, the Mad Dog. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio, joined by Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. Amelia, how the hell are you tonight?
Good to be home. I tell you,
I'm happy to be home. No place like home.
absolutely.
It seems to be the echo of the evening. Even my wife was like, I'm happy to be home.
I bet because this was one of those Mondays. I bet for her.
I'm sure. Yes, it was too. Busy Monday for everybody.
Yes.
For everybody. Well, we're going to lighten things up tonight. We have had over the last year some really interesting guests.
Yes, we have.
And we've got oh man, we've got this is a sampling.
Mhm.
Tonight when you have so many people that you want to get on a
Yeah.
best of show and you only have so much time to do it.
Correct.
Then that means you have to leave a whole bunch of people out.
Absolutely.
And it killed me to have to leave a lot of people out. But
We'd be here all night.
we would be here, and probably tomorrow and Wednesday too.
Right.
And very possibly Thursday or Friday.
Right.
But it'll be a really long show. But tonight I decided on, and it was tough. But
Yes.
I decided on what I thought were the best 8 or 10 really special guests that we've had. And we've had a lot of people on the show.
Oh yes, we have.
Some really interesting folks, some crazy people, some people that made us crazy.
That one, yes, I would agree.
Yeah, some people that made us crazy. Some people that walked off, some people that made us want to walk off. We've had all of the above, Amelia.
Absolutely, all of the above ends.
So let me tell you, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a very illuminating show, fun show.
Yes.
It's been a really kind of tumultuous year.
Yes, it has.
It's been a really long year.
Yes.
It really, really has. Oh, who's in our chat room tonight? We got somebody in there already.
Yep.
It's Leon.
Hey, Leon.
Hey, Leon. Leon Barfield is one of our steadfast, tried and true. Leon is one of these guys. He's been with us probably from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, let me do nothing else then but listen. Okay, Leon. And sit back, shut up, and listen. And I mean that with love, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight on the record, WWTF Radio, tonight, What's the Buzz Popcast presents the best of 2023. Our favorite guest from the past year. Now, Amelia,
Yes.
we've had a lot of people on. Before I start getting into this video, we got a lot of video to show.
Oh, yes.
Without looking at the video, who, aside from the obvious, Sylvia, your favorite, I get
Yes.
that. Aside from Sylvia, who to you stands out as some of your most memorable guests in the show?
That we're gonna show or not show tonight.
It doesn't matter whether we show them or not. I'm asking you a question.
Well,
Who are the people who stand out as some of your most memorable or favorite guests?
I would say when we had Alistair Cross and Tamara Thorne was one of them when we had them together.
The writers, the
writers.
dynamic duo of horror.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There's a lot of them. And
I call them the Devil's Duo. They write really dark shit.
They do, but they're fantastic writers. I mean,
they really are. And we haven't had them on in
a while.
God, it's probably, they came on early.
Yes.
They came on early in the year.
Mhm.
They were with us last year in 22,
Yes.
but they were also here one time this year. Um, I would have loved to had them back, but they're so busy writing all the time.
Oh, yeah,
You
absolutely.
can't pull them away from their computer.
Because they're constantly just getting a book after a book after book out another one.
I know.
And
I've got 4 of their books right here
yeah.
now.
And then I think Mark Sotkin was another because I loved hearing his stories of Laverne and Shirley, the Golden
Oh
Girls,
my
everything.
God, Mark,
Yes.
please, Mark Sotkin.
Mhm.
I thought he might be one of your favorites.
Yes.
Who else that you think was, in your opinion, stood out as one of your
Let's
maybe
see.
favorite guests?
Favorite guest, I would say, let's see. Let me take a look. There's just been so many of. I'm trying to think.
It could have been an
Uh,
entertainer. It could have been
the
an
one that wore
author.
the T-shirts. I can't remember right off my hand. The one that was the writer for the Emmys and the
Oh,
writer.
Bruce Vilanch.
Right, yes, Bruce Vilanch. I just loved him.
Yeah, Bruce
Yes.
Vilanch.
Mhm.
He is a character.
Yes.
He is Bruce Vilanch is the guy.
Mhm.
You all know his face. You
Yes.
all know who he is.
Yes.
And Bruce Vilanch is the writer of the Academy Awards.
Yes.
He's also known as the center square on Hollywood Squares.
Yes, Hollywood Squares. Yeah.
And he's been in a ton of movies, a bunch of, believe it or not, he's been in a shitload of Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, and the stories he
lot
would
of them.
tell, you could just imagine yourself being in there with him when he was telling the stories.
Yeah, no, I have to pass on that.
No, I'm saying, you know how he would describe the stories to us,
Oh,
how he
yeah,
would be
I
in the
know.
movies or anything like that. You could just imagine, especially being in the writing room, when they were writing the script for everybody, the
Yeah, now I
teleprompters and
understand why writers drink.
exactly.
It's true. Do you
Yeah.
know that writers are
Mhm.
notorious drunks? And some of them,
Some of them can
here,
write their best stuff all drunk.
I'll tell you who did that. Ernest Hemingway,
Oh, wow.
Norman Mailer, Truman Capote.
Mm,
They did some of their finest work when they were tuned up.
wow.
I
I can
swear to you, I can't make this up.
I can imagine. I bet you songwriters for, like, musicians too, that's how they
The
do their
same
best work.
look, sex, drugs, and rock and roll,
Yeah.
right?
Who were your favorite people, by the way? Let me ask you as
Oh
well.
my God. Well, I'll tell you 2 of them right off the top of my bat.
Mhm.
Gil Garcia and Mike
Yes.
Santo. Yeah,
Yes. Mhm.
Michael Santo and Gil Garcia, because I love Kiss.
Mhm.
You know, everybody knows that I love Kiss.
And you know that I
And
did not look at their, pictures because you told me that they were lookalikes, and I did not look them up until the day of the show when they came on. I was like, "Wow."
yeah, they're
Mhm.
remarkable. These guys are
Yes.
2 of the most incredible Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley look-alike you've
Exactly.
ever seen in your life.
Yes.
I mean,
Michael
I said it on the
wow.
show, they're scary good.
Yes.
And then Gil went, "Ooh," remember?
I know he was ooh.
You're gonna see that tonight too, because he happens to be one of the
Mhm.
one of the ones I chose. Um, let's see who else.
Oh, I know who else you might wanna say.
I'll tell you right now who
Mhm.
was one of my favorite guests.
Yes.
Joe Cone.
Yes.
Joe Cone was one of my favorite. I love anybody who can come on and talk about free speech
Oh, yeah.
and the Constitution. I love that kind of stuff. He'll be joining us again, by the way. I assure you, he doesn't know it yet, but he
Yeah,
will.
he will.
He will be joining us next year.
Mhm.
Well, I'll get him on here. I'll figure out a way.
Absolutely.
I'll get him on here. But because he is such a smart guy, man.
Oh, very smart.
He's so smart. Ronnie Marmo was another guy.
Mhm.
Loved having Ronnie. And of course, Ronnie Marmo was the guy who
Mhm.
gave life to Lenny Bruce.
Yes.
He starred in a one-man show called I'm Not a Comedian.
Yeah.
I'm Lenny Bruce.
Right?
And it was a remarkable show. We saw clips of it on our show with Ronnie, and I'll tell you
Yes.
what, well, he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor, an award-winning actor too, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Remarkable actor.
And then Mary Murphy, we can't forget her.
Oh, Mary, you're going to see Mary tonight.
Yeah.
Mary Murphy, she loves me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it for the world to hear. Mary Murphy loves me. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm short and I'm cute. See?
And you'll learn how to dance real quick, huh?
And I dance like a weeble. I wobble, but I don't fall down.
And you know who else I like this Jim Fife, because especially with your reaction with him, you couldn't even wait to come in. I wasn't even on the 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I can't do this.
I know, right? Well, you're going to see Jim Fife tonight too. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look, since it's like 10 after and we've been talking.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a lot more, but let's take a look at like 2 clips.
Okay.
And then we'll look at 2 more after that. Here you go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to WWTF Radio. I'm Mad Dalton and Sylvia, joined as I am each and every week by Amelia the Pitbull Chapman tonight. A very somber, very special edition of the Roundtable. Tonight, we pay homage and we say goodbye to our dear friend Charlie Thunderblood Norris. To help us do that are 2 people who knew them probably the best in this entire world. Karen McDaniel, who was Charlie's friend, but more so her husband Wahoo was Charlie's mentor. And that went a long way with Charlie. And it went a long way with Wahoo McDaniel. Karen, welcome to the show, my dear.
Thank you, as always, Angelo.
Yes, welcome.
Karen's, she's, I want to say that she's like, a part of the furniture here, but yeah, she really is part of our family. I remember...
Hey, you put me on the spot several times, so go ahead.
I also got you hooked up with a hell of a book deal, baby.
Yeah, you sure did. You got me the right guy to do it. I will say that. Thank you very much.
And joining us as well this evening, Mr. Sam Houston. Sam not only was a lifelong friend of Charlie Norris, but his tag partner in the world of the rapid-fire world of pro wrestling. We'll call it that. Sam, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with the fans some of this stuff.
I don't consider myself either. I feel
really? Do you remember this guy, Amelia?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What was his name? Don't look.
Mr. Capone.
Angelo Capone, yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I was
going to say, if you fuck up his name, you're really in trouble. It's hard to forget his first name because it's the same as mine.
Right, but I'm laughing because he said, "Don't call me Mr.," but I did it on purpose, Mr. Capone.
Exactly. Let's take a listen.
I channel in. The reason why is because we share the character. See, I'm not doing Jerry Lewis the man, and I always tell people that.
I love his accent.
I do the character, and that character was mine as a little boy. So I channel in. That's why it's easy for me. And so that word impersonator, I'm not taking someone on. I'm taking me off and putting it
interesting. That's really interesting, Amelia. Never heard a guest say that.
Absolutely.
We've never had someone answer quite like that.
Well,
you're not putting it on. You're taking you off. That's really a very deep way to look at it. We've had guys here that are adamant that they are impersonators, and we've had other guys that are equally as adamant that they are tribute artists. They're paying our friend Phil Solis.
Right.
He likes to be called a tribute artist because he's paying tribute to Dean.
Right.
He's not becoming Dean, but he is damn near as close to Dean as you can get. He's pretty damn good.
I'm very happy with Phil and I.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should be. We're going to talk about that show Saturday night. Okay. Tonight, we're going to explore a very convoluted guy. He was both loved and admired and revered, but he was also hated and disdained and had a tremendous amount of resentment thrown against him. This man that was beloved as the world's clown, Jerry Lewis, had a lot of different sides. He had a very dark side, but he also had a very humanitarian side, which we all know about. We're going to explore his many personalities and how you, as Angelo Capone, have to reconcile that character with what you do. By the way, Amelia, I noticed something when watching this clip.
Yes.
You interrupted that poor man at least 4 times.
I did not.
At least 4 times. Now, I would never do that to a guest.
I did not interrupt him.
Anybody who knows me, I would never do that. Shut your mouth, woman.
I did not interrupt him. You be quiet.
Let's take a look at him. No, let's watch Angelo. Here you go.
It saved me. Yeah, it saved me being with people. Yeah.
I mean, we have a worldwide audience that we wouldn't have had were it not for this contraption called the internet.
Yes.
And I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful every day. The show was called Angelo Capone Becoming Jerry. So, Angelo, if you will, show us how you become Mr. Jerry Lewis.
Absolutely.
When I was 9 years old, I wasn't doing any voice yet as Jerry. I did the nutty, believe it or not, before Jerry because I couldn't hear the tone. But once I did the nutty, I heard the tone. Then let me just put on this wig, and believe it or not,
remarkable.
This is when I only feel when I don't have a wig on. I don't channel. But as soon as I put a channel, I don't know. I just want to just be Jerry because that's what I've been doing my whole life. And when I did this, and the girl would look at me, I would just be like, nah, this is who I am. I got the attraction.
Right.
Give me a little insight into Phil. Tell me about
well, I too grew up in Italian. My mother, she loved Dean Martin, and she played Dean Martin all the time, morning, noon, and night. She'd play Dean Martin, and we'd listen to that, watch his TV show on Thursday nights. And then later on, he did the roasts and things like that, and we watched those and had a lot of fun doing it. And so I started imitating Dean Martin from my mom, really, and she got a big kick out of it and kind of encouraged me. That's the problem. She encouraged me. And I went on to radio when I was after high school. I went on a radio show called the Dr. Demento Show. I don't know.
Oh my God, are you kidding me, Dr. Demento?
Yeah,
that was a rite of passage in the Northeast. That was Phil Souls. Remember Phil?
Yes, I did.
What an amazing Dean Martin tribute artist. Now you had Angelo Capone and Phil Souls did Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. I had the opportunity to see them perform together.
I bet that was awesome to see him in person.
Yeah, and they took my wife up on stage. And it was funny that Angelo was sitting on my wife. I was in my seat, falling off my chair. It was hilarious.
How was she? Was she like so embarrassed? Or
well, yeah, she was embarrassed. I said, I know something you don't. Just shut up and let it happen. And she said, "What? What are they going to do?" I said, "I'm not telling you."
You
She
can.
said, "If they bring me up on that stage," she said, "They
Uh-oh.
did."
Uh-oh.
It was
Somebody's gonna see.
hilarious. Well, let's talk about Angelo and Phil. So they were I think they were the first. They might have been the first
The singing duets that we had
celebrity.
together.
Yeah, they might have been the first celebrity lookalikes that we had.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And then we had, of course, Steve McCoy.
Yes.
But Steve was on my old show too.
Yes.
And then he came on with you and I.
Yes.
And that was a excursion that night. Remember? Oh
Right.
my God. Well, I will tell you the story when you see the clip. We'll tell you the story what happened. Anyway, but Angelo, like, if he's not wearing that wig, he don't do Jerry.
No, he's himself.
If he's got that wig on, then he's Jerry.
Yes.
But Phil is a different story. Phil is not pretending.
No.
When he opens his mouth, that's what he sounds like.
It sounds just like, close your eyes and you think that's Dean Martin talking.
Exactly. He sounds just like him.
Yes.
But by the same token, Angelo kind of sounds like Jerry.
Yes.
But when he puts the whole act on, then he really sounds like Jerry because he's exaggerating it.
Yes.
He's doing it for effect.
He puts himself more into character. Exactly.
But Phil doesn't have to do that because Dean was just cool.
Yes.
And Phil is just, that's how Phil is, just a very cool guy.
Oh, yeah.
Very laid back, little drink in his hand, have a cigarette, say hi to the people, have a little bit more to drink.
I got that from watching them, just seeing them talk like this.
Oh,
I bet you got better.
I'll give you a little heads up. I'll give you a little heads up you don't know about.
Okay.
He doesn't drink or smoke.
Oh, wow.
What he did, he had fake ice cubes in a glass, and it wasn't alcohol. It was apple juice.
Or it could be iced tea. A lot of them use iced tea.
Yeah, because it looks like alcohol.
Yeah.
But the other one was the cigarette. It wasn't a real cigarette. You could smoke it, but it wasn't like tobacco.
Right.
It was called a cocoa stick.
Yes.
And it's made from coconut shells, crushed up coconut shells. And they grind it so small like tobacco. And you can actually smoke it.
Oh, wow.
But it doesn't cause, and there's no after effects, there's no side effects. It doesn't cause cancer. It's not addictive. And it's just a funny thing to see him there with the cigarette and the drink, but he pretends to get loaded.
Yeah, it's like a prop thing that he uses.
Exactly. But the whole thing is that he pretends to get loaded as the show goes on. And all he's doing is drinking apple juice.
He's a good actor, too.
He's a hell of an actor. He really is. You mentioned Jim Fife. He's our next guest up on the... now, what did you think of Jim Fife? You had met him... how many times did you meet him? Once or twice?
Just that one time when I actually talked to him about being on the show.
Right. You weren't part of the old show, but
I asked him.
Jim. So because I told you to book it.
Yes.
And I didn't want him to know it was me.
Correct.
Well, that lasted about 5 minutes.
Not even 30 seconds.
I know, right? Not even 30 seconds. She's right, too, folks.
No. He couldn't wait to come in. He says, look, I can't wait. I have to tell you.
What. Speaking of can't wait, why don't we do this? Let me hit our first commercial break. We're about 5 minutes late for our commercial. Yeah. We're going to hit our first commercial breaks, folks. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 22 seconds, and then more of the best of 2023 on What's the Buzz, America's Best Popcast. We'll be right back.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design.
You've made iHeartRadio the fastest growing music app in the U.S. Why? Because we connect you to all of your favorite music and radio stations in one free app. And this fall, prepare to take control of how you listen to the radio. Replay. That song on your radio you just can't hear enough? Immediately replay and sing along again. Save. Save the music you love on the radio directly to your playlist. Play. Search for and play any song on demand. Skip. Unlimited skips. Offline. Take the music from your favorite stations offline. Introducing iHeartRadio Plus and iHeartRadio All Access. Your radio now on demand.
What's the Buzz Popcast wants to welcome Radioactive FM 88.6 in Wellington, New Zealand, Radio Perth, Australia, and RTL Radio 102.5 in Milan, Italy. Welcome aboard, and welcome to the Buzz.
Hey Max, what's going on? I'm X, and from this moment on, I'm going to be your own personal AI DJ on Spotify. Let's go. Up next, I know you've been on a summer song kick lately, so I went back for some of your old summertime favorites. See if it warms you up. Next up, some of the music you had on a lot back in 2018.
Do you think of me?
All right, Max, let's get you out of your feels and switch up the vibe. You've been into dance music lately. I got this brand new release to get you moving. Introducing DJ, the best of Spotify made just for you one tap away. Powered by AI, delivered by me, your very own DJ.
We are back with What's the Buzz, America's Best Popcast on the record on WWTF Radio, brought to you by Podbean and Spotify. Tonight, the best of 2023 and some of our favorite guests from the past year. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio, joined as I am by Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. I try to get rid of her, folks, but she just keeps coming back. It's a futile effort. It really is. He just keeps coming back. I don't know how to get rid of her.
I was waiting for him to say that. That's why I was laughing.
Stuck with her. What? Let me tell you something, you little shit. So let's talk about Jim Fife. Like we were talking about Jim.
Yes.
I have his clip here. Now, let me tell everybody a little bit about Jim Fife. Is an actor. He's a presentation coach. He's done television and film. He's done Broadway. He's a multi-talented guy. And he's a friend of mine. I actually went to high school with him and grew up with Jim. He's a great guy. This was Amelia's first opportunity meeting Jim.
Yes.
And you're going to hear an interesting dialogue between Jim and myself. So let's go right into that, and then we'll talk about Jim Fife after the clip. My God, because he's a famous movie star.
Yeah.
And he's a friend of mine. How about that shit? You didn't think I knew anybody famous, huh? I know a lot of famous people. Well, most of them are in Whittech, but you're still, you know. But Jim Fife made it out. Jim Fife made it out. He is my friend. I went to high school with Jim Fife. He's an actor, presentation coach, improvisational teacher. He's an acting coach and teaches history. We're going to talk about that, too, because Jim got involved in academics very early in life. Mm-hmm. He was always good looking. He was always smart. But why he became a teacher, I don't know why that happened. But let me formally introduce this gentleman. His name is Jim Fife. He is a 25-year veteran of television, film, and Broadway. As an actor, writer, producer, and director, Jim Fife was the consulting producer on the Bravo series, Andy Cohen's Then and Now, and segment producer on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. producing film and music stars, directors, and best-selling authors. He also worked, his work also includes, I should say, working with Michael J. Fox in the feature film Universal Studios' The Frighteners. And let's see here. And Jim also taught on-camera acting and improvisation, coached speakers for various TED Talks. Now, if you guys don't know what TED Talks is, it's fascinating. It's utterly fascinating. These people speak for about 15 to 20 minutes, supposedly anyway. Some of them are mouthy, they go longer. That would be me. And so Jim teaches them how to stand there and be interesting, because by God, he's an interesting fucking guy, damn it. He's a great guy. I love Jim Fife, and it's been far, far too long since I've seen this man. Jim holds a BA in Speech and Theater at DeSalle University and MA in Arts Leadership at Bank Street College. Jim is also credentialed used guitar salesman. We have the exclusive film tonight. You'll see it nowhere else but right here on America's Popcast. What's the Buzz?
Yes.
Jim, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Maiden voyage. I got to tell you, this is Amelia's gig tonight. And so we're introducing the big mouth concept to What's the Buzz, although it should be probably.
Exactly. But you know what? I tried to keep it a secret for as much as I could, and I could not keep it, what 5 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I said to her, when he comes on, I'm going to stay in silhouette. Make sure that you don't like open your mouth and say anything. And then as soon as I heard you talking, I said, I can't keep my mouth shut. I got to jump. So my friend,
yes,
how are you?
I am doing well. Thanks very much.
Last time I saw you, my brother, was over a year ago.
I think it's more like 2 years.
What has it been that
I think
long?
it's 2 years.
And he was absolutely right. It was 2 years since I said, because he was on my old show.
Yes.
Like the 2 years before that was, oh my God, it flew by. What it was this, that was 2023.
Yes.
He was on in 21.
Right.
Early in 21, like February or March.
Right before I even knew about.
Oh, yeah. You didn't come along until like December or January, maybe.
January, yes.
Was it January of what? Of 2022?
Yes, I believe so, because it's you and we've been doing this for years.
Yeah, because you'll be, oh my God,
2 years in January.
Yeah, it'll be, holy shit. Yeah, it'll be 2 years. Wow, you've been with me that long. Holy shit. How did I survive it? Oh my God.
How did I survive it?
2 years, what, like the later in January?
Yes.
Now I thought it was early.
No, I was at the tail end of January.
We figured out the date. I think it was somewhere around the 26th or 27th.
Yes, I was at the tail end of January when I was on your very first podcast. Yes, and I was a guest.
I wanted to go back and try and pinpoint the date, but I didn't really have to do that. I kind of remembered it was kind of toward the end of like the 26th, 27th, but not quite the end of the month though.
Right, not quite.
It wasn't like the 30th or the end of the month. So that was Jim Fife. So now the show that we did with Jim, you remember it well, and I remember it well. So what was your the most surprising thing you learned about Jim?
I'm surprised that he didn't stay in acting, but in a way, I'm not surprised because I know that he wanted to give back, so he became a teacher.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But remember what he said, and this is a lesson for those of you would-be actors out there. Here's a guy who did a dozen films, at least a dozen films, probably 13 or 14 films. He did television, at least 5 series at least, plus doing a series for HBO called A Parent's Guide to what was it called? It was called Buy Me That, A Parent's Guide to how was it? A Parent's Guide to buying for their kids, or something like that.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
So I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But the point I'm trying to make is he was a working actor making really good money. And he decided to stop acting and to teach acting instead, and to give back, and became a school teacher. Imagine walking into a classroom and you see a guy in front of you that was on a movie that you watched on TV 3 nights ago.
Yeah, it's like he didn't want the burnout. I think's what it was, and
he talked about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of burnout in Hollywood. You know, that's why so many turn to drugs and alcohol. That's why so many actors die so young.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what happened? Here's the biggest problem, and Jim talked about it. You become hot for a while.
Oh yeah.
And then
you're the it person.
Yeah, and then but what happens then, Emil?
They replace you with somebody else.
You're very replaceable instantly.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you stop becoming the flavor of the month.
Exactly, that's it.
Mm-hmm. The next flavor of the month. A guy who got sucked into that was a guy named Richard Grieco. Now, this guy was the golden boy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good-looking guy. The women just, loved him. He was like Mr. Sex Appeal. But as soon as he was no longer, Hollywood's favorite,
exactly,
they threw him onto the junk heap.
Yep, they'll do that with the actresses and actors. They'll just
they found the poor guy sleeping in a dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. None of that is made up.
No,
they found him sleeping in a Goodwill bin.
Yeah,
is what it was. But but Jim he didn't want to become part of that.
No, and I think
Jim was smart because he always knew. See, one of the things Jim Fife always did was he always had his teaching background.
Yes, he's
a great teacher, but he uses his acting skills to accentuate his teaching ability.
Yes.
A great example of that is if you see a movie called Teachers. If you've never seen it, it's a great movie with Christian Slater and Ralph Macchio.
Right.
It's called Teachers. There's one character in that movie played by Richard Mulligan who decides to become different characters. But they don't know that he's crazy in the head.
Right.
They just know that he's a teacher.
Correct.
Okay. So he starts teaching the class in character. Like one day he came in as Abraham Lincoln. One day he came in like Wild Bill Cody. Another day he came in like the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
Just very interesting, over the top characters. But that's how you make teaching interesting.
Yes, and that's what he wanted to do as well. He doesn't go in to teach to set them up to fail. He went in there to teach them how not to fail and how to succeed. And that's what he wanted to give back. It was just like Matthew McConaughey. He's actually a teacher in Lubbock, Texas, for Texas A&M College.
True. Yes,
that's what he wants to do. He wants to do like that, and I don't blame him. I mean, I can understand why Mr. Fife wanted to do something like that, and that's good for the kids as well to look. There's some other things besides acting that you can do.
Well, Matthew is also one of those guys who is he's got credentials, but he's also a musician.
Yes.
He's another one of these guys like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp made all his money in film, but guess what?
Yeah.
He doesn't really like to act.
No, he'd rather sing.
He's a musician. At heart, he's a musician.
Yes.
He doesn't need the money.
No.
I mean, he's made all. He lived to be 100 years old. He still have enough money.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I mean, he owns his own island, for crying out loud.
Right. That must be nice to go to your own island and disappear from the world. And
yeah, I have an island too. It's called Angelo's Man Cave in the basement.
Disappear whenever you want.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
We're talking about some of our favorite guests, some of the highlights of 2023. What, in your opinion, this is, I'm not putting any words in your mouth.
Okay.
Anywhere you want to go with this, you go anywhere you want with this. Some of the lowlights instead of highlights, some of the lowlights of 2023. Some of the guests that you didn't care for.
Let's take a look. Let's see. I can't even think of his name on top of my head. Let's try to think. You know who I'm talking about.
Which one?
Let's see. I guess he sang for us, and that was just like
oh, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Jeffrey Mark. You, for some reason, you never, and I like Jeffrey. He's a good guy.
It's that vibe you get with certain people, I guess.
Yeah, that's Jeffrey. He puts off that vibe for sure.
Yeah, and I guess I was right in that vibe because I don't know. He just said that he even made a comment later that he was going to take over the show and that was his show. And I'm like, wait a minute, excuse me. I don't think so. It's not your show and you're not going to take over the show.
Jeffrey Mark is an amazing talent. He's a really sweet guy. He's a nice guy, but he comes from, and this is the big but here. He comes from that old Hollywood mindset where it says the old Hollywood mindset. Now follow me, Amelia.
Right.
The old Hollywood mindset says you control the conversation. You control the narrative. Don't let anybody else speak. It becomes all about you. That's the mindset he comes from. But it's a different day now.
It is.
And the mindset on Angelo's show is, especially when I'm the host and I got a pretty big personality.
Right.
Okay. Nobody is going to take over my show.
Absolutely not.
Nobody. I don't care who you are.
No.
Nobody takes over What's the Buzz. And I had to put Jeffrey in his place.
Correct.
A time or two. Because he's been on the show, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times, 5. How many times has he's been on the show?
At least 4 times, I think.
At least 4, yeah. At least 4. And I remember one show that you weren't on because you didn't want to be on with him.
Yes, you had a co-host that was gonna. Well, you were trying to see how a co-host was gonna be on the show, and I kind of watched from the background.
Yeah.
See how she was gonna be, and I'm like, well, let's see how this works out.
And it didn't work out for him. I ended up interviewing Jeffrey by myself.
It was a her actually, and she was.
Which her? Which
from Alaska?
Oh God! What the hell was her name?
Melissa, I believe it was.
Melissa Black.
Yes.
The Arctic Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she called herself, the Arctic Wolf. Yeah, she was a fart in church. Yeah.
And I was
big talk, no substance.
And I was
no
like,
way.
Wait a minute.
No
You're
way.
not supposed to have that in the background. You're not supposed to do this, that. And she's like, is there anything that I did good that you liked? And I said, well, I was told to tell you what. And I was supposed to watch.
Well, here's the idea is you're on a professional podcast.
Right.
Okay. I don't want to see your shower curtain. I don't want to see your furniture. I want to see you in front of a screen with a nice backdrop.
Or anybody walking behind you, doing this,
or your
that.
dog sitting on the couch. That's not what I want to see. And so that doesn't fly on my show. Okay. Amelia has a very professional background, and my background is where I am, radio station. Okay. And so and I can pick and choose any background we want.
Yes.
Okay.
And I happen to like this one here that we have here. So.
And I happen to like the radio station because we're on the radio.
Right.
So, but Melissa didn't work out for lots of reasons, not the least of which is she's not really a very good conversationalist.
Right.
She's good one-on-one, but she asks horrible questions.
Right.
On the show.
And I think the other one wasn't really like a low one, but I think it was like in the medium because it was kind of scary to think that could happen to somebody. Was the Black Dahlia. That was kind of interesting and scary at the same time that could happen to somebody. Somebody evil could do that to somebody.
I thought for sure you were going to say Karen Rayner when Karen was on the show.
That one too.
That was the show we did about Superman.
That was a Superman one, and I was just like, I almost walked off the show.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know you were getting ready to take a bolt.
In the middle of the show.
I know, because Amelia, see, let me tell you something, folks. Amelia, she won't tell you this, but she's the queen bee here. And she don't want nobody coming in here screwing with the hive, if you understand what I'm saying.
Who else didn't like her? And I agreed with. I was.
Who else?
The wifey didn't like her either.
Oh yeah, my wife couldn't stand her.
So she and I worked together.
That's the real queen bee. My wife is the real queen bee.
So she and I worked together.
Yeah, she says, I don't like her.
Nope. And that's all I needed. Thank you, Anita.
Papa Bear is getting rammed from his co-host and his wife.
Yes. Thank you, Anita. Yay.
My co-host in life and my co-host on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, Karen, though, she had everything that is perfect for a podcast. She's smart. She's beautiful. but she also stepped on some toes.
But she also did, and you asked her about that. She, I was supposed to study for that, or what? Wait a minute.
Oh yeah, well she didn't. That was the other thing. She didn't know the subjects, and she was online when we were on the show. She had her phone in front of her.
Like this.
Yeah, going like this with her phone. That's not how we do our show, folks. That's not how we do our show. What we do is we study for our shows. And we study a lot. Amelia will tell you, we study. I do painstaking research.
Oh, yes.
I thought for sure. And because it was fairly recent.
My studying too, right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought for sure you were going to say Savannah Paranormal.
That's another one.
At my
I thought that would be yours because
actually, no, for me it was a highlight.
No,
I don't look at anything as a negative. To me, when they walked off, our ratings went through the roof.
I think that makes our show better. I think
it did make our show better. Do you know when they walked off the show, we did 75,000 people that night?
Wow.
I'm not even shitting you.
And you know what they tried to do when I went on the phone when we were still live, I went on the phone just to see what they were trying to do. Yeah. They try to get people to get on our show to try to send us message to try to sabotage us. Can you believe that?
I could believe that, but guess what? None of them did it.
It didn't work.
None of them. You know what ended up happening?
It made us better.
I'm going to tell you what happened. They ended up listening to the show and subscribing to the show.
Yes, they did.
Do you realize that by February we're going to hit the 11 million mark?
Wow, that's going to be amazing. That's something we should celebrate.
Yeah, we're by February we're going to hit the 11 million mark.
Yeah, because let me. We
are. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we're very close to hitting the 100,000 download mark.
That is fantastic.
And we're going to get another badge from Spotify.
Yay. Let me ask you something, though. In your line of work when you did that, would you ever tell a ghost to breathe and to pee?
Oh, my God, please. The funniest thing we ever heard. Amelia and I were laughing so hard. The guy on a video. We had this paranormal group called Savannah Paranormal. And there was a quote psychic, quote unquote psychic. And here's what he said. And this is a direct quote. Okay, just relax. You can breathe. Now, he's a spirit. He's dead.
You can't relax.
They don't breathe.
You can't relax.
He's saying, relax, breathe. Are you shitting me? Did you just tell a spirit to breathe and relax? Oh, my God. And then he didn't know how to answer this. I said to the guy, who taught you? I did. I'm self-taught. Okay. How do you know that what you're doing is right?
Exactly.
He couldn't answer me.
No.
And then I said to him, shame on you for teaching other people and giving certificates away when you don't know whether you're doing is right or not.
Exactly. And then people are calling them for help to get rid of whatever's in
and
their
here's
home.
what he says. We do this for fun. You do it for fun. You also do it for money, motherfucker.
And if they're doing it for fun, that's not going to help the people that actually need help.
You're also getting paid for it, and you lied to us.
Yes.
They came on here and said they do this for fun. They don't get paid. You're a lying piece of shit. A lying big fat piece of shit.
Exactly.
Because you do get paid. And you are getting paid from clients. How do we know? You know how we know? Because we called your clients, you dick.
Yeah.
We called your clients.
Yeah.
We do research on this show.
Yeah.
We research the shit out of this stuff.
Yes.
You know why? Because we have lawyers.
Yes.
On to the next one, Amelia. Let's watch it.
Go ahead.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of What's the Buzz. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio, joined as I am each and every night by Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. How are you, Amelia?
I do wonderful. How are you?
I am stoked and joked tonight, baby. We're Vilanch. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
Hello, you to fire me.
We're so honored to have you here.
It is indeed an honor to have you here. We right at the start of the show, a shout out to Mark Sotkin, producer, writer, director of television programs far and wide. It's Thursday night, and Amelia Pitbull Chapman. That means only one thing.
What's the buzz time?
It's 4 p.m. in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago, and it's 7 p.m. here in New York City. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio. Joining me tonight, as she does each and every week, I try to get rid of her, but she keeps coming back. Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. How you doing, kid?
I'm doing okay. A little bit better now, but it was a little bit long of a day.
Long day for you. It sure is. We have a fun show tonight. If you've been following our shows, we needed a fun show tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Because we've been getting pretty heavy with some of our topics. And I say, you know what? We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a celebrity lookalike. Now, I got two of the best in the business tonight. I'm joined by one. We're waiting for another to join us. Here he is as we speak. Joining us as we speak.
Yes.
Michael. Call me Gene Simmons Santo. How are you, my brother?
Oh, welcome to the show.
And let me introduce your partner in crime over here. A man looking very, very dashingly like Paul Stanley. This is Gil Garcia. Call him Star Child from Arizona.
Welcome to the show.
Those guys were freaky looking, okay?
Yeah.
I never seen two people look more like Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Especially these two guys.
Yeah.
Because Michael is a dead ringer.
Yeah.
I mean, a dead ringer for Gene.
Oh, yeah.
And Gil could be like Paul's twin brother.
Yeah. I like it when he was like going like that to the camera like that. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Watch this. Absolutely. You guys are remarkable. I have to tell you, I've seen, as Michael, we were talking to Gil off air. I've seen every member of KISS and had the opportunity to meet every member of KISS, the original crew, Peter, Ace, Gene, and Paul. And I've been up close and personal. I've been right in Gene's face and Paul's face. I know what they look like, intimately well. You guys you'd be very hard pressed to find somebody who says, you know, you don't look like Gene or you don't look like Paul. I want to tell you something, brother. You guys are scary. You're like freaky fucking scary, okay? Oh, yeah, we're going to have some fun tonight. He is I called him this is one of your favorite guests, Mark Sotkin.
Yes.
Now, Mark is a great guy. He's coming back February the 6th. Let's tell everybody who Mark Sotkin is. Well, you're going to hear me introduce him, but I'm going to tell you who he is. Mark Sotkin is the writer of Laverne and Shirley. He is the writer of The Golden Girls. He produced and directed The Golden Girls. He did a TV series called First Time Out. He did another film with another series with Jim Belushi and Michael Keaton called Working Stiffs. He's done the Sinbad Show.
Charles in Charge is another show.
Tons Charles in Charge for sure. The Golden Palace he did. Yes. An amazing writer, producer, director. He has won, considerable acclaim from the Writers Guild. He's been nominated for and won Emmy Awards. This is like a heavy hitter.
Very heavy hitter.
And he likes us. Thankfully, he likes me and Amelia, which is good. Because we need guys like him on the show.
Oh, yes.
So whenever we get a chance to bring him on here, we do what two normal co-hosts would do.
Oh, yes.
We kiss his ass.
No, he said he'd be on our show anytime we asked him to.
Oh, yeah, but he absolutely did. But he's that kind of guy, though.
He's
for a guy that's so famous and so credentialed and experienced in the business, he's so laid back. He's so down to earth. Mm-hmm. He really is. Hollywood Renaissance man. On a previous episode, and he really is. He really, really is. Mark Sotkin is a producer, writer, director, sometimes actor. You can see him once in a while in front of the camera, or on a community theater stage near you. But let me get to introducing this man. He is a veritable encyclopedia of show business. He's done it. He's been there, and 79.
Yeah.
I did not know that you had involvement with Working Stiff. Were you a producer on that show, Mark, or did you write for it?
So I wrote and produced. So Paramount had a script that they weren't happy with, and that's actually when I left Laverne and Shirley, and left Laverne and Shirley to do the rewrite of that, produce it, and then was involved with casting Michael Keaton and Jim Belushi, who were the stars of it.
Welcome to Talk is Cheap. Finally. Now, let's talk a little bit about Mark Sotkin. Mm-hmm. What did you learn? Because I'll tell you something. I found out something I didn't know before. What did you learn about Mark that you didn't know?
That I didn't know how high maintenance Cindy Williams was from Laverne and Shirley. You would think it's the other way around.
It's funny. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I did not know how demanding Cindy Williams and Penny Marshall were.
Yes.
From Laverne and Shirley. Apparently, and this is not unusual in Hollywood, that the stars have creative control.
Absolutely.
But the writing staff, now you got to remember this, they are studio writers, but because the star has what's called reasonable creative control, they can throw their 2 cents in, so to speak.
Oh, yes.
And Cindy Williams, we were told, and we have since verified it, Cindy Williams, the late Cindy Williams, rest in peace, fired the entire writing staff. And Mark told us that and explained why she did.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something that you and I didn't know before.
No, we did not. And it was hard because it's like if you're a character and they want to try to bring your character to life, what you like, it's like you could be sitting on the couch watching TV instead of holding a tissue. You could be crocheting or something. They try to bring whatever your interests are into your own role to be comfortable. But, she didn't want to do a certain thing. They wanted her to do something else, and she didn't agree with them. So it was a lot of disagreeing. And
she apparently wanted things. Cindy Williams apparently was my way or the highway.
Exactly.
She didn't want to compromise.
Exactly.
I'm looking at myself over here, Amelia. Mm-hmm. I looked at myself in the last clip, too. That beard made me look really, really old.
I've looked at a lot of my clips too, and I've lost a lot of weight since then.
I look like my uncle. If my uncle looked like a short, fat, older guy with a white beard, that's who I would look like. Let's take a look at another guy I grew up with, Steve McCoy, he's done so well for himself. I'm so proud of him. Steve McCoy is the world's number one Tom Jones impersonator, and he says he's an impersonator. He doesn't, and here you go, is another one of those guys that doesn't like to be called a tribute artist.
Right.
He's an impersonator. He impersonates Tom Jones. Let's listen to this. On the do you remember what happened that night? Why we were late getting on the air?
Yeah, we couldn't get anything working right that night.
Nothing would work.
Nothing would work.
We couldn't get anything. It was one of those nights where, like, somebody had it in for us or something. Yes. But it was one of those nights Steve couldn't get on. Right. We couldn't get on. The microphone was too low. Then the microphone was too loud.
Or the cameras wouldn't work.
And then the camera wouldn't work. I was like, what the hell is going on
one
here?
Or the other working. And then finally.
I had 3 microphones and 2 cameras going, okay, where am I looking at? What am I talking into? Right. And Steve is out there in his backyard in Las Vegas with a big glass and a bottle of wine, just enjoying himself.
Oh, yeah, having the
and
time
laughing his ass off. Here you go, watch this. Oh, man, I'll tell you what.
Listen, I think Pete Wilcox had something to do with that.
Exactly. I love broadcasting live because you never know what's going to happen. And you know what? Hey, I look at it this way. It was supposed to happen that way. Well, anyway, welcome everybody to another evening of Talk is Cheap. I am your host, Angelo Mad Dog DeCipio, joined as I am each and every week by Amelia Valerio Pitbull Chapman. How you doing, Amelia?
I'm good. Wonderful. How are you?
Amelia, great show last night with Mark Sotkin, the producer of the Golden Girls.
It was an awesome show.
And the writer of Laverne and Shirley. How about that stuff?
We learned a lot yesterday.
Heavy hitters hanging out with, the poor boy from Barrington and some poor lass from Odessa, Texas. We have an interesting guest tonight. He's a guy I've known. It's hard to imagine even to say these words. I've known Steve McCoy for nearly 50 years.
Wow.
Because neither one of us look that old.
You don't, actually.
Steve
you don't
McCoy
look old at all.
Is the world's foremost Tom Jones impersonator, not tribute artist. He is an impersonator. And we're going to talk about the difference between the two. He's also a dear friend of mine. He is the man who I say he rules Las Vegas with an iron fist and a bottle of wine. Stephen, how are you, my brother? There you go.
There we go. Cheers. Welcome to the show, Steve.
There was the wine as soon as
as soon as you said the wine, there it goes. That's the pour.
And it was an easy cue for me. It was an easy segue because Steve doesn't go anywhere without a bottle of wine. Don't forget, you gotta remember something. He's half Irish, half Italian.
There you go.
And the Italian half likes to drink wine.
Right. On the Irish too.
And the Irish half.
So
yeah, good call on that one, Pitbull. Let's watch this. Pour one for me and myself.
Absolutely.
On this special evening is television and film actor Ronnie Marmo. He is not only... Now, this guy, you remember... Now, we just had him on not too long ago.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Ronnie Marmo was one of my favorite people. Because everybody who watches the show and you listen on radio, you know that I absolutely love Lenny Bruce.
Yes.
I admire the guy's courage. He died too young. He was martyred for the words that he used. He was killed for the words that he used. But yet, those are the same words I use on this show every night. But nobody says anything to me.
He gave everybody his
because
start.
He paved the way
exactly
so that I can say those words. Guys like Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, you know?
Yes.
He was the first guy. Lenny Bruce was the first guy to use the F word in a club and get away with it for a little while anyway.
Yeah.
Until they crucified him. But let's listen to Ronnie Marmo. We're going to talk a little bit about Ronnie in a minute. An actor, but he's a writer, producer, and director, and a hell of a writer. Yeah. We're going to talk about some of his writing tonight.
Oh, we got to do the applause. Come on, where is it?
Oh, you want the applause?
Yes.
Oh, man, you threw me on the curveball here.
That's
There you go.
Hey, I'm a soap opera gal. You have to do it for him. Come on.
Absolutely. Now, see if you had said something 10 minutes ago, I'd have queued it up already.
Yeah. You had that one coming.
Your timing sucks, lady. Ronnie Marmo is here because he has embodied one of my heroes in life. And that's not by any stretch an exaggeration or an understatement. And if you watch this show and you listen to us around the world, I am a huge Lenny Bruce fan. And Ronnie did something remarkable. He brought Lenny Bruce back to life in a one-man show called I'm Not a Comedian, I'm Lenny Bruce. Directed brilliantly by Emmy Award-winning, multi-award-winning actor Joe Mantegna. You know Joe, you worked with him on the Criminal Minds, is that what it is?
Well, that was one project we worked together on, but I've known Joe now, it's got to be almost 2 decades, and we've worked together quite a bit.
Hang in there, kid. I have to say goodbye to Lacy. Lacy. Now, Ronnie Marmo did 2 hours with us.
Yes, he did.
And God bless him. He was so generous with his time. And Ronnie's coming back in February.
Yes, he said that he could just stay as long as we wanted him to stay.
Yeah, until they kicked us the hell off.
Right?
But yeah, Ronnie's a great guy. He's coming back. He's got a new show. He's got a movie coming up, and I think we might be able to confirm. I'm not going to say too much yet. I think we might be able to confirm that little rumor that you and I heard about. There might be a movie in the works.
Yeah, he was talking about probably doing the movie. Yeah.
There might be a movie in the works. We're going to find out when he comes back. But now, I had to stop this one here. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Those of you who saw the show, and apparently quite a few of you did, because we got a shit ton of response on it. We had 2, not 1, but 2 Country Music Hall of Fame female recording artists of the year. Both of them in their rookie year. Yes. Sylvia Hutton was Artist of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Sylvia Kirby.
Oh, Sylvia Kirby.
She goes by that now.
Why
by
am I
her
calling
maiden
her
name.
Houston?
Well, it was Hutton, but she goes by her maiden name now. Kirby.
Oh, but I was right though. It is Houston.
Hutton. It was Hutton.
Hutton. Hutton.
Yes.
Okay, Sylvia Hutton. Sorry, Sylvia. I called you Houston. You're from Hutton, or Hutton from Houston. But here's the thing, though. The point is this: Sylvia, in her rookie year, became the female artist of the year.
Yes,
and was that got her into the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yes,
but in her rookie year, Lacy J. Dalton did the same thing.
Yes.
Lacy J. Dalton got inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. She also was named Artist of the Year in her rookie year.
Absolutely.
Now, there's about a 30-year difference between Lacy J. and Sylvia.
Yes.
But they knew each other very well.
Oh, absolutely.
And you remember when we started the show, I didn't have to ask any questions because Lacy J was asking all my questions for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was funny.
Because Lacy J is doing my interview for me.
Yes.
Which was fine with me.
Right.
But now, this was about an hour into the interview. So what you're going to see now is an interesting, how you want to say this? It was an interesting dialogue between Lacy J. Dalton and myself. Yeah. Take a look.
Okay.
J. Dalton, I love you, kiddo. You're an amazing woman. Got to have you back again. Yes. I'm going to try to butter up Leslie next time. Bribe her with some candy.
I'll do my best too.
Flowers or something like that. So,
Mad Dog, you truly are you really are a lunatic. It's really fun to talk.
Thank you.
That's the first time I've ever heard that one. I like that one.
I mean, look, I'll cut you your own, Manscaped style commercial if you need to.
Oh, I'm telling you what, the Manscaped commercial, that was the high point for me.
I wrote that stuff too. I wrote it, I produced it, and I performed it.
Does it exist? Is it a real thing?
Wait, I'm not just a commercial spokesman. I'm also a client. I use this stuff.
So it exists. You can get this for your girlfriend, right?
Lacy J thought that was like a pretend, like a bit. She thought it was a bit.
Yeah.
Like a comedy bit. Like she goes, "Oh, that's a real thing." She goes, "Is that a real thing?" I went, "Yeah." Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a real thing for sure.
You got them both laughing.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be true to my audience, They want to know, am I silky smooth? I am silky smooth. I am the Mad Dog.
It's so good to know this. It is so good to know this. We, I have more respect now.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'll tell you, Amelia, let's say goodbye to Lacy J. Dalton. Yes. She has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, young lady. I will have you back. Yes. And I'm going to hit up Leslie and maybe she'll actually answer the phone.
Mad Dog, you're the best.
Good. Thank you, sweetheart. Take care, Lacy J. Dalton, everyone. That made my night. When she called me a lunatic.
She called you a lunatic.
She goes, you really are a lunatic. I love you. You're the best. She had fun, though.
She did.
She was laughing. But here's the thing, though, and I'm going to say this. I know that Sylvia is your girl.
Yes.
But Sylvia does not have the same sense of humor that Lacy does.
She was just shocked, I think, when she saw something like that. She was like, wait a minute, what was this?
Well, I don't know if she was... See, I thought about that too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she was like you say, if she was shocked, or whether she's just very reserved.
She's kind of reserved in her own way. She's kind of not really shy, but she's more reserved and
like a little bit more conservative.
Conservative, yeah, and she's more of
I just thought maybe she would laugh a little more.
She did. You have to like get to know her a little bit better to kind of like know what kind of jokes.
Well, yeah, but I felt like a dentist. That was like pulling teeth out of her, man.
No, but once you get to know her, you'll get her laughing, and and too, she recently just had her birthday. Happy birthday, Sylvia! And
happy birthday, Sylvia!
So it was so funny.
From Mad Dog and Amelia.
She did tell me she did laugh. It was funny, but in her way.
Well, we have a very now talk about we've had some celebrity lookalikes. We had a guy on the show. You're looking at him now. His name's Danny Lopez. Now, Danny is a remarkable guy. He's an actor. He also happens to be an incredibly talented actor and musician.
Yes.
He plays with a Beatles tribute band.
Yes.
He also plays all the parts that Johnny Depp played. He does Captain Jack Sparrow. He does Edward Scissorhands. He does oh god, what am I missing?
The one that Willy Wonka.
That's it. Wonka. He does Wonka. Thank you for reminding me. He does Willy Wonka and a host of other Johnny Depp characters, including characters from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Which he has brought to life. Now, we're going to hear a little bit from, but remember something. He's an actor and he likes to talk.
Yes.
Okay. So here's where we are in this interview. So we're about probably at this point, Amelia, you and I are probably about halfway through the interview.
Yes.
And so this is where we pick it up at.
The greatest actor of our generation, maybe one of the greatest actors of all time.
Amazing considering how painfully shy he is.
Correct.
Isn't that remarkable?
Very
Well,
shy.
you
have, I believe, I've always had this belief about actors. You have got to be the most duplicitous split personality to be able to pull off being a great actor. Look at the greatest. Al Pacino is an absolute powerhouse on the screen.
Right. That's right.
But he's a fucking lunatic in real life.
That's right. And Johnny
Al has lost his mind.
Wow.
He has. He's a great actor, but he's just lost his shit.
Yeah.
But when you say action, that camera's rolling.
He's like right on
every line. He remembers everything.
And I would say that's true, Mad Dog. And I think you know this better than anybody, that I think they use acting as a form of therapy.
Very much so.
Introverts. Meet, people that you would think would be some of the loudest, most obnoxious. They're very Chappelle. I meet these guys and they're really quiet, sweet, unassuming people. And they use it as, like you say, there's a weird psychology with that.
Isn't he right about though, Amelia?
Yeah.
Isn't he absolutely right that actors are kind of like a split personality kind of? They really are. Like a perfect example. If you look at just take Danny Lopez for example.
Yes.
If you look at Danny, being Johnny Depp, he's very different than Danny Lopez.
Very different.
Now Danny Lopez is outgoing and he likes to talk. He's a friendly guy. Johnny Depp is kind of like keeps to himself.
More reserved, quiet.
Very reserved. Much more to himself. A lot quieter, generally speaking. A lot quieter. He speaks very softly. But Danny, Danny was a great guest because he's just like, he's one of us.
Yeah, any question, he was right there answering it just like that for us.
Oh, absolutely. Let's take a listen.
And,
by the age of that was the end of that interview.
Yeah,
How about
that was the book.
Now, a guy is interesting because Johnny Whitaker is up next. Now, we had Friday night, just past Friday night,
the 15th,
was Johnny Whitaker's birthday. And I reminded him the day before Now, just to show you, the day before that he was coming on the show to do an interview with me, right? He
Correct.
says, great, I got it. I gave him the link. I said, happy birthday, John. See you on the show. He says, thank you. Okay. Showtime comes around. It's Friday now. Amelia is here. She's in studio. Mad Dog is here. He's in studio. Waiting on. Waiting on. Waiting on. Where is Johnny? 6:45 East Coast time.
Right.
No Johnny.
No.
6:55 East Coast time. No Johnny.
Right.
7:00 p.m. I'm on the air. No Johnny. I text him. I said, John, it's Mad Dog. I'm on the air. Where are you, brother? Here's the message I received in return. Oh, shit. That's the message I got from Johnny Whitaker. Oh, shit.
Oh, boy.
And then 5 minutes later, Amelia, what happened?
It's like, hello, driving.
He popped in.
Yes.
But he was in a car with 4 other men.
Yes.
On their way to see a show in California.
About
they
an
were
hour
on their
away.
way to see a Christmas show called Madam Scrooge. And Johnny proceeds to wanting to do the interview from the car. And I can't do that because, first of all, his internet was going in and out because he's in a damn car, for crying out loud. Right. Okay. Secondly, there's 4 other people. I don't know who they are.
Right. And we don't want to talk about personal stuff.
I don't want to talk about certain things in front of other people. It's like, okay, I don't know these guys.
Right.
I might be letting somebody's secret out here.
Invasion of privacy as well, too. Because
and exactly. First of all, you know how I am about people doing interviews in cars.
Oh, absolutely. It's not professional.
That's one thing I forbid.
Yes.
If you're going to be on my show, you better be either in a studio or in your home in front of your computer.
Or on your way home, telling us you're just 5 minutes away. And
or texting me, say, I'll be home in 10 minutes. Fine.
Right.
That's okay. I could deal with that. Now, a perfect example of that is our late friend, Charlie Norris, who was famous for being in the car.
Yeah, on my way home, I promise. And
I'm on my way home. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Okay.
And then forgets to log in.
Okay, Amelia, where'd Charlie go? I don't know. Anyway, it was a good thing that, Charlie liked you. And, oh, man. Anyway, but Charlie, we still love you, brother. And we're here. All right, so here's Johnny Whitaker. This is Johnny's first appearance on our show, and he was with us for over 2 hours.
2 hours, yes.
Over 2 hours. 2 hours and 20 minutes was Johnny Whitaker's show. Because Johnny's now you have to remember something. He's a year younger than me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny started in show business when he was 3.
Oh, wow. How little.
Yeah. He started in show business when he was 3. His mother had him doing baby commercials and stuff. And then, of course, he auditioned and got Family Affair.
Yes.
And then it was onward and upward from there. He became famous on television from being the cute little kid from Family Affair. Well, here's Johnny Whitaker now. He's 64 years old. And here you go. Johnny Whitaker was a veteran of television and an established film star. Johnny was riding the crest of the Hollywood rave until something tragic happened. He turned 18 and became wealthy in a hurry. And that, my friends, was when life got real for John Whitaker. Too much time and too much money is the death knell of most child stars, but not Johnny Whitaker. He survived child stardom due to largely to really good upbringing and great parents. Having overcome adversity, personal and professional trials and tribulations, Johnny Whitaker found the redemption in the same people who watched him grow up on TV and in the movies. And, ladies and gentlemen, he lived to tell the story. And he is my very special guest on this special weekend edition of What's the Buzz? America's Best Popcast. And on that note, folks, I am up against a hard break. How's that for a cliffhanger?
Right.
You'll hear the rest of that right after this, folks. We'll be back in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Jess wanted to start a business when something surprising happened.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to crochet.
She started crocheting, like a lot. And her friends noticed.
Jess, you need to sell those.
So she signed up for Shopify and started building her business.
Yes, I love that.
And after a lot of hard work, this happened.
Oh my gosh, I just made my first sale!
You see, every day, hundreds of businesses get their first sale on Shopify.
We got ding!
And the next could be you. So when you're ready to bring your idea to life
and become your own boss,
build it on Shopify.
Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we.
You're gonna die.
Ayun na, pre. Kaya siguro lagi nakatingin. Kasi yun na lamang ang magagawa. Inaabangan ako na mawala. Kaso lang ang malala. Nadapa, kakatingala.
Game? Sa kapunta to the moon. Road trip. Vroom vroom. Skr skr. Zoom zoom.
No time, better up, I can help. Let's not let me get ahead of myself. With your bow mouth, tell me you don't wanna get shelled. Why so silly, get the lotto intel. Why still with me, I'm bothered.
We are back with What's the Buzz, America's Best Popcast. And when last we left off, Johnny Whitaker was telling we were telling you a little bit about Johnny Whitaker.
Yes.
And Johnny is going to talk to us about life in Hollywood. Amelia, let's continue.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Whitaker.
Yes.
Yes. All right, John. You know what? That intro alone deserves this. Amelia, what do you say?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Perfect.
Look, anytime I get a chance to play our applause button, I use it.
Yes, he does. Every chance he does. Yes.
So anyway, welcome, my friend. Welcome to the show. It took some doing to get you here. I got news for you. I reached out to a few people. Finally got a contact on you. You and I have a couple of mutual real life friends. Jeffrey Mark being one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeffrey's a great guy. He's been on the show. How many times has he been here, Amelia? Like 5 times?
5 times, yes. At least.
Yeah, Jeffrey's been here 5 times, and he loves to sing and tell stories and of old Hollywood. And you know what? I love that kind of stuff. You're a guy, John, who, as I said in the intro, you survived Hollywood stardom when so many of your counterparts at the time did not, including someone who was very, very close to you, not only off camera, but on camera, Nisa Jones. Sad story about that young lady. Bad friends, bad situations, bad timing. Everything worked against her, but you were very fortunate that you had an incredible support system to fall onto. Did you at any point during that 17, 18-year-old, troublesome age for most people, did you have any temptations to go the route of the alcohol, drugs, and other abuses?
Not at that time.
Okay.
I had just finished. Well, Family Affair ended in 1971, and then I did 5 Walt Disney movies back to back. 5, and then I did Tom Sawyer, for which we are the 50th anniversary this year.
Yes, I actually want to talk about that later in the show.
Sure, and then I didn't take much of a break, but I got contracted to do Sigmund and the Sea Monsters for the next 3 years. And then that was 73, 74, 75. And then in 1976, my younger brother and sisters, we did the Johnny Whitaker Show, which was a family variety show for the 200th celebration, the bicentennial celebration of the United States.
Yeah. Now, Amelia, do you remember? I don't know if you're old enough. You remember the Johnny Whitaker Show?
No, I don't remember any of that.
When you were born in what? 71? 71. Okay, so yeah, you would have been. Oh God, you would have been a baby. Maybe like. Oh, you would have probably been about, say 71. You would have been like 5 years old. Okay. So for us old farts, the Johnny Whitaker Show, because Johnny and I are basically the same age. The Johnny Whitaker Show, he was like a household name. Back in the day, you might appreciate this because it's kind of similar to like the wrestling magazines.
Yes.
They used to have these magazines called like Tiger Beat.
Yes, I remember those.
You remember Tiger Beat? Okay.
Yeah.
Tiger Beat magazine's been around since the 60s, since the early 60s, like with the teen idols and like Tiger Beat, like Idol magazine.
Yes.
God, let me see. There was other ones. Movie Star Confidential.
Yes.
Those kind of magazines featured people like Johnny Whitaker, Bobby Sherman, Leif Garrett, David Cassidy, people like that from back in the day. Danny Bonaducci, who I haven't seen in a long time. But Johnny was he was like on every magazine cover back in the day. He's like Johnny was kind of like the Ric Flair of the teeny bopper set.
Right. Every time
you know how Ric Flair was on the cover of all the wrestling magazines?
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
how Johnny was. He was on every teeny bopper magazine you could think of. Tiger Beat was the big one. Teenage Confidential.
Yeah.
Oh
or
my God!
17, I think it was called. I think it was 17 was another one.
When in that interview, and I remember, let's talk a little bit because Johnny was a great guest.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that interview. Because you asked a lot of questions. What was the most surprising? What question did you ask that seemed for you to get the most surprising answer?
I guess his family life, that he really wanted to be a father and he never got to be.
Yeah.
The answer that he gave us just made me want to just be in tears, but I held back the tears.
Yeah, he told a very emotional story.
Yes.
But it's interesting, though, because one of the things I said in the intro of that show was that Johnny, luckily, did not end up becoming a drug addict or an alcoholic or a drunk because he had great parents. His mother was his manager, and his father had nothing to do with show business at all
whatsoever.
That was the mother's job.
She was his support system as well.
Well, yeah, Johnny remember, he talked about his brothers and sisters.
Right.
Johnny had brothers and sisters who became people in the entertainment business for a short time. They never, of course, reached his level.
Took it as far as he did, correct?
Well, yeah, because he did, like you heard him say, he was under contract to Walt Disney.
Yes.
He was under contract to Don Feddersen Productions.
Yes.
You're talking about a kid between the ages of 8 and 18, a 10-year period between 8 and 18, where he was making more money than his parents were.
Yes.
Now we talked about that. And it's funny because his father, and I said, you heard what I said to him. I said, did your father ever resent you making more money than he? And he says, no, my father wanted nothing to do with, all he knew was that Johnny's getting paid, put his money away.
Exactly.
That's a great way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people in that position would be like, out of control because you're making, you're talking about a kid between the ages of 8 and 18 that's making millions of dollars from television and movies. He did 5 movies, 5 in a row for Walt Disney. He did a huge blockbuster hit for Disney called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
Correct.
And he did, of course, Family Affairs, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, of course. And
variety show, he had his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff that, that we barely scratched the surface of.
Oh yeah, and then his family. I'm glad that they did that for him because other parents would be spending the money like crazy, like other celebrities do.
So, what was the one thing that you got out of Johnny's interview? If you had to say, was one thing that solidified who Johnny Whitaker is, what would it be?
A nice, simple kind of guy that didn't let celebrity go to his head.
I would say absolutely you're right. But here's what I would say in one word: grounded.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. He was all of those things. Simple, straightforward, easygoing, nice guy.
Very nice guy.
That's because he's grounded.
Yes.
And he knows who he is.
His mom helped him see that and not let celebrity,
Absolutely. Well, his mother recognized that she loved all her. He said it himself. My mother and father loved all of their children differently.
Oh, yes.
But they knew that I was the one making the money.
Yes, and they showed him the simple life of things not to spend here. Just because you have this money doesn't mean you need this piano.
And they didn't know. And remember, they didn't have a big mansion.
No,
they lived in a simple house. They had someone. They did have a housekeeper.
Yes,
to help them. But it's funny because we never called her the maid.
No.
Or the housekeeper. We called her by her name.
By her name, yes.
That tells you right there the kind of guy, the kind of family.
Oh, yes.
He was raised with. Because that is, you can't put a dollar figure on that kind of upbringing.
No.
I think Johnny was probably one of the most well-rounded guests we've ever had on the show because he's full of stories. He's got, oh my God, the stories he could. It would take 5 shows And we probably wouldn't even finish all of them.
Oh no, we wouldn't even scratch the surface, as they say.
Oh my God, please.
Yeah, he's not the type of person that says, "Hi, I'm Johnny Whitaker. I'm in the room. Come see me."
And here's the other thing: we didn't even scratch this one. But he was a recording artist too.
Yeah,
he made albums.
Yes,
we never even talked about his singing career.
No, we didn't.
But I did play his song on the show.
And where'd you get that?
Yeah, he goes, "Oh my God, where did you get that?" Remember?
Yes.
He was singing this song called "Friends"
Yes.
live at the Hollywood Bowl. He was 13. He was 14 years old.
Teenager, yeah.
With this big head of red hair. And remember the outfit that he had on?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. What the clothes that they used to have.
Polyester, was it material?
Oh, my God. Polyester. Oh, please.
Yeah. Platform shoes.
A polyester nightmare.
Yeah.
Singing at the Hollywood Bowl in the middle of summer in the daytime.
Must have been hot.
Crazy. I'll tell you what. This was a great show. I have a special announcement now. What's that?
And that was just part 1. Tomorrow we have part 2.
Well, that's the special announcement.
Oh.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, was the last show of 2023. We are taking a hiatus. We will return, God willing, and everything's okay with all of us. We will return. We never assume anything. We always ask the good Lord first. We will return, God willing, on January the 8th with film director Glenn Martin, who will bring us. Listen to this cast. I can hardly believe it myself when I think.
I know, right?
It's remarkable. Listen to this cast. Glenn Martin, the director of Cemeteries, Curse of the Hanging Judge, When Night Comes, Sacred Ground Forbidden, The Searching, In the Shadows.
Scary movies.
And he'll bring with him, listen to this one, Amelia. He'll bring with him Michael Paré, the star of both Eddie and the Cruisers movies.
My favorite actor.
Streets of Fire, The Philadelphia Experiment, Mayday, The Virgin Suicide, plus 200 more films. He will bring Robert Bob Romanus with him. That's the man. He's an actor, musician, director. He's an acting coach. He teaches group classes, individual classes. He was also Mike Damone from the film Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That smooth talking cool cat named Mike Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's him. And he's another guy that's done 80 plus movies and a personal and group acting coach on top of it.
Yes.
Beverly Randolph from Return of the Living Dead and Freaks of Nature will be here. Jennifer Banco from Friday the 13th and Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Brian Saponis is an up-and-coming action star. He will be in the new film Cabrini and Wolf Hollow. He is also in Glenn Martin's In the Shadows and The Searching. Julia Riley will be here. She is best known as Tammy from television's Stranger Things and the TV movie The Secret She Keeps. And Georgia Simmons from The Searching. Also, listen to this one. How's this for a change of career? Georgia Simmons went from doing a children's television show to starring in horror movies.
Wow.
How's that for a career path?
That's a quick change.
That's a quick change for sure. Let's see how long that quick change took to happen. We're going to ask Georgia when she gets here.
All right.
And that's the first show. There's a whole lot more after that because I got news for you, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get each one of them for their own show.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep, I already found that out. We're going to get each one of them from their own show. And we're going to have Glenn Martin back for his own show.
Yes.
And Glenn and I, and I'm not saying nothing till it happens, But Glenn and I, when it happens, will make a joint announcement together. And that's all I'm saying on that. Period.
Right.
End of story. Now, on behalf of before I close out,
yes,
I want to say something because we got a couple minutes.
Okay.
You've been an amazing co-host. I know you put up with a lot of shit from me. My wife knows you put up with a lot of shit from me. She goes, my wife said, if I were Amelia, I would tell you to go fuck yourself.
Oh, no.
I said, don't worry. She gets hers in there. Trust me. And, but no, you've been an amazing co-host. You're going to be celebrating 2 years.
I know. Can you believe
on
that?
This show. On January, I think I'm wanting to say January 26th, I want to say.
Yeah, somewhere right there, like the end of the last week of January is the first appearance that I made. But it was just it was a guest. It was my first appearance. I was like so nervous. Never been on a podcast before.
You know what? I want to tell you exactly when. Because you know what we'll do? I'll tell you exactly when, and then what we'll do, you and I will have a special episode. I'll call it the Best of Amelia.
Oh, dear Lord.
And,
that's gonna be...
Yeah, and then I can show your most embarrassing moments.
Yeah, probably when I dropped the phone, when I first started on the phone.
Yeah, I remember, of course.
And the flip, oops.
Here, I'm going to let them in on a little secret. Amelia, when she first started with the show, did the podcast from bed. She did the podcast sitting in her bed.
I had no desk. I had no
She had
laptop.
no desk. She had no backdrop, no green screen.
None.
She had no lighting. It was just whatever light was in her room. That was
that was it, because I had never done a podcast before, because I was the type of person that I said to myself, I'm not good enough to be in front of the camera, so I'll just be behind the camera. But you brought me out of my shell.
I found when
you brought me out of my shell.
Your first show with me was January. I was right. It was January 25th.
Ah, okay.
It was a Thursday because it was a wrestling show.
Yes, you were on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So
I was on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes,
and we had we had Tuesday and Thursday, and Wednesday was Pete Wilcox Coffee with the King.
I remember that.
And we had 3 shows on the air. But 2 of them were wrestling and 1 was Pete Wilcox.
Yes, I remember that.
And that was January the 25th, a Thursday.
Yes.
So I'm going to mark that down. That was Amelia's anniversary.
Yeah, that was my very first show.
Look at this. Ain't you proud of me? I'm actually writing it down.
He doesn't need a pen or paper, but he does have a file.
Yeah, my file's called Amelia Chapman. She writes it all down, so I don't have to.
Yeah, I write it all down and keep it together.
I write stuff down, I lose it anyway. So what the hell? Well, it doesn't do any good to write it down because I'm losing shit all the time.
If you're gonna write stuff down on who's gonna be a guest on the show, luckily I bought me some pens.
Amelia, write this down.
Right?
She's my co-host / secretary because that's why you're the producer, because you have to write all this shit. I can't do it. God knows I can't do it. Jeez, good. Okay, so here is what we're gonna do.
Yes,
we are going to say good night, and until we see everybody in January. And so, folks, it's been a rough year for a lot of people. The last couple of years have been pretty rough. Thank God that COVID is over. We're not dealing with COVID anymore. Be nice to each other. I know there's a lot of hate in the world. I'm trying in my own little way to get over that myself, to be less prejudiced and open myself up to new things, which I'm starting to do. It's a process, okay? It's a process. And so, baby steps, one day at a time, and and that's what we do around here. We just try to spread some love, try to spread some happiness. Once in a while, we talk about something serious, and But a lot of the time, we try to make everybody laugh and have an uplifting show, and I think we've done a pretty good job over the last year or so.
Yeah.
Not only making people laugh, entertaining people, but we've also, I think, educated folks, enlightened them.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Especially paranormal people.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh,
I'm sorry, I still can't think.
Oh, well, we're not done with that.
Yeah.
Trust me, we're not done with that.
Yeah.
Because I got something, I got something in mind.
And also to just be mindful. This is the last week before Christmas, so if you see people out there, if it's like the last toy, like I said, or last gift, don't just be fighting people for it. Come on, please.
The other
item
thing, and I want people, and I said this last week as well. I want you to do this on behalf of the show. You can say Mad Dog sent you or Amelia Pitbull sent you, but just grab yourself a big plastic bag.
Right. Yeah.
Could be a trash bag. Could be anything that you can put stuff into. Right.
Right.
Go to the dollar store. Buy yourself a cheap blanket. Put it in a bag. Grab some snacks and some candy from the dollar store. You can get all this stuff at the dollar store and put it in a bag. Take a $5 bill, put that in the bag too. And spend a couple of bucks, $2 or $3, folks. You can get them at the dollar store. $2 or $3, you can buy a little pillow for somebody. Put it in a bag. A lot of people are living on the street. They don't have a pillow or a blanket. Buy somebody a coat if you can afford to. But give them a bag. Put some food, some candy. Put a couple of bucks in it, $2 or $3. What's it going to kill you to put a $5 in there, a $5 bill? It's not going to break you, but it'll make you feel really good to do it. There are people who need your help this Christmas. We live in what used to be the greatest country in the world. But now we have our own people living on the streets, and they're hurting and they're hungry. If you find somebody who needs help, give them a bag. It'll have candy, money, a pillow, a little blanket. It's amazing what you spend 10 or 15 bucks.
Right, exactly.
The best money you ever spent.
Right.
I'm saying.
Yeah, and if you see somebody that needs a scarf or something like that, if you're out about, go to a dollar store, Family Dollar, go buy them a scarf. It doesn't cost that much. Come on, help somebody in need.
No, look. Do you know there's a place all over the country? There's a place called Five Below.
Yes.
Okay, you can go there. You want to know how far $5 will go?
Oh, absolutely.
Go to Five Below.
We actually have one here now.
Yeah, they're all over the country now.
Yeah.
I got 3 of them within 20 minutes of me.
Are you kidding? I could spend so much money in that store and get so much stuff for people
There you
in
go.
need.
Go to Family Dollar or Dollar General.
Yes, absolutely.
Even Dollar Tree.
Yes.
Dollar Tree actually sells. I'm not making this up.
No.
Dollar Tree actually sells blankets and pillows.
Oh yes, for $5 or less that you can get a nice
for $5 or less. It's remarkable that you can get this stuff and help somebody who needs a little help. Well, listen, folks, we will see you. As I said, God willing, we'll be here January 8th, and pray for our country, pray for each other. I'm asking you folks to pray for me, pray for Amelia, pray for us,
please.
Pray for our families, and we will ask the Lord to bless you. In fact, let's do that right now. Heavenly Father, ask you, Lord God, to bless our listeners, our viewers. Keep them in your hearts and in your prayers, Lord God. Give a comfort, Heavenly Father, to those who have no comfort, who don't have the luxuries or the blessings that we do. Allow them to have warmth this Christmas. Give somebody, impress upon their heart to give a pillow or a blanket to someone who they see on the street. Put a little love bag together, a little care bag for them. We ask you, Lord God, to bless these people in Jesus' name. And everybody said amen. Amen. Okay. On that note, Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman.
Yes.
I am Mad Dog, Angelo DeCipio. For America's Best Popcast, What's the Buzz? Have a great year, everybody, and Merry Christmas to all. And to all, good night.
We'll see you next year.
See you, folks. Bye-bye now.